Imagine that. I, Vince McMahon, bought my own competition. And you're asking, well, how could that happen? Well, you see, it was only a matter of time until Ted Turner and WCW would fall and allow me to pick up the pieces. Because you see, the fate, the very fate of WCW lies in my hands. What is up, Barry? This is Dana Rice 08 back again, and this is going to be my review of the final episode of WCW Monday Nitro. And right afterwards, it will be the Go Home WrestleMania show, the simulcast Monday Night Raw episode. So right here, Monday Nitro, the final Nitro. It's a big, massive, important show. We opened up with Vince McMahon saying that WCW's fate lies in his hands. And that there will be a simulcast, and we'll find out about the future of WCW on Raw later on. So how is the final episode of Nitro? Well, it actually really doesn't feel like a grandeur, it doesn't feel like a series finale. When you watch a television show and you see a series finale, no matter what the show is, whether the finale of the show is good or bad, it doesn't matter what show it is. It could be Frasier, it could be Seinfeld, it could be How I Met Your Mother, it could be any show. It could be MASH, but you feel the grandeur, you feel the spectacle, you feel that this episode is huge. But for some reason, this doesn't really feel special. It's weird, but there's a lot of things about this show that doesn't really feel spectacular in a way, and I will explain how. However, we start out Nitro with the first match, which was for the WCW World Heavyweight Championship and the United States Championship, title for title, champion versus champion. Scott Steiner, the world champion, Booker T, the United States champion. And these two have a good 6-minute match. It was really go in there, make Booker T look good, because he's the guy we want. And Booker T wins the title, becomes a 4-time champion, keeps the United States championship. And this is just kind of a meh kind of a match. They have much better matches. But the two best things about WCW in the Dark Ages kind of just has a 5-minute match on this big spectacle show, which is your final Nitro. This could be the last time we see these two guys. So, again, it's why it doesn't really feel that special. Nothing special about this match, though. Next up, we have a Cruiserweight Contendership match with the Filthy Animals, the Young Dragons, and a couple other guys tossed in. This is fine. Get your shit in. Do your flips. Do your loop-de-loops. Showcase the guys that we are actually looking forward to having in the WWF, I guess. So, whatever. Next up, you have Shawn Stasiak versus Bam Bam Bigelow. Whatever. Stupid. Shouldn't have been on the card. You have a Cruiserweight Tag Team Championship match with Kid Romeo, Elix Skipper, and the Filthy Animals. Good match. You have a Cruiserweight title match between the Vertebreaker, Sugar Shane Helms, and Chavo Guerrero Jr. in a good match. Then you have, but the biggest match of them all, the biggest, most important match of them all, there's also a tag team title match with the Natural Born Thrillers. But the big, most important match is we do get Sting versus Ric Flair. Now, before I talk about that great match, all of these matches are only 5-6 minutes long, which is not very good, in my opinion. I think a lot of these matches should have been cut out. Not to mention, there's about a 500 million Vince McMahon segments on this episode of Nitro. The reason why I don't say this is it doesn't really feel like it's a series finale. It doesn't feel like this is it. This is the end. Because there's no big spectacle. There's no big video package. There's no leave the memories alone. There's no my sacrifice. There's nothing like that. You have your short, your sweet matches that are showcasing your WCW guys that WWF might want, and you're showcasing Vince McMahon being the egotistical asshole that he is, and that's really about it. You do have an awesome Ric Flair promo at the beginning, and looking back, you know he was full of shit because he can't take 5 minutes without talking shit on WCW. We have a good promo from Sting, so we get this match between Ric Flair and Sting, and this is really the only grandeur spectacle thing. This really is the only moment you get that makes you feel, wow, this really is the end. This really is the end. You have Ric Flair, you have Sting, the two greatest superstars in WCW history. You have Ric Flair, the guy who was made in the Jim Crockett territories, the guy, the profiling, the kiss stealing, the wheeling dealing son of a gun, nature boy Ric Flair, the man who paved the way for so many guys, the man who meant so much to the industry. He goes up against Sting, who is the franchise of WCW, the guy who has never left for the WWF, the WWE, until very recently. You have Sting, you have Flair. This is the way you go out. This is the last match in WCW history. And it's funny how these two had the first match that they had really the second match on Nitro, the first Nitro. They had the last match on Nitro. And they have so much history. The Great American Bash 1990, Clash of the Champions 1. You have, their battles in 95. Their battles all over the place. They fought millions and millions and millions of times. And this is a great way to end WCW, the last match. But it's not over just yet. They rejoice and they celebrate. And it's so nice to see Sting and Flair closing the last match of Nitro and the last match of WCW. But we get the simulcast of Raw. Vince McMahon goes on a rant of how he's going to put WCW on the shelf. He gives a survey of who the fans want to see in the WWF. Goldberg gets a loud pop. It's funny that Buff Bagwell gets a second pop. He gets a bigger pop than Sting did. I found that hilarious. But then we get to the iconic moment. And I'll talk about this also on the simulcast Raw, where you have Vince McMahon in the ring. He's in Cleveland, Ohio on Monday Night Raw. They do the split screen. Here comes Shane McMahon. And Jim Ross says, Shane McMahon's on Nitro. What the hell? Shane goes on Nitro. He's in Panama Beach. He is on Panama City Beach, Florida. And he says, surprise, Dad. You're in Cleveland, Ohio on Raw, and I'm in Panama City Beach, Florida, standing in a WCW ring. Vince, you keep on saying how you're going to crush the WCW and how you bought the contract. Well, the contract has been finalized, and the contract does say McMahon. However, the contract reads, Shane McMahon, I now own WCW. And the reaction, the ovation is grandeur. It is awesome. It's one of the biggest, one of the greatest moments in Nitro and Raw history because it's so cool at how this plays out. You have Vince McMahon on Raw in Cleveland. You have Shane in Panama City, Florida on Nitro. Split screen. I now own WCW. And then the show ends. And there you go. That's the end. So, well, while you do have Ric Flair versus Sting, Booker T winning the title was great. And you do have the Shane McMahon, Vince McMahon, the split screen. Overall, the final episode of Nitro doesn't really feel like this is it. This is the end. There is no video packages. There are no Leave the Memories Alone. There are no The Memories Will Never Die. There are no My Sacrifice. There is no Hurt by Johnny Cash. There is absolutely none of that stuff. Okay? It's just Vince McMahon segments, short little matches, get your shit in, show the WWF world why you want to go there, showcase the talent that the WWF guys want, and do Ric Flair versus Sting, have that moment, do the simulcast split screen shit, and there you go. That's basically it. Overall, I'm not going to give it a rating of a 1 through 10. I don't rate matches on TV shows, wrestling shows, so I'm going to go and give it a grading. I give this, the final episode of Nitro, a B-. And I give it a B- because Booker T looked good. Booker T and Steiner, while it was 5 minutes, was good. Ric Flair and Sting felt important. It felt huge, and it was the right way to go for the final match of Nitro. And the whole Shane McMahon showing up on Nitro and saying that he now owns WCW, that is great. And the promise that we are given of this incredible invasion angle, which I will talk about at the end of 2001 review, is amazing. A B- for the final episode of Nitro, and that's the end of WCW. It's done. It's dead. And I will do the rise and fall of WCW. Why WCW fail? The best of WCW and the worst of WCW. Why WCW closed. Why WCW failed. And I'll do all that stuff in the coming videos in my 2001 year in review. Coming up next, I will do the Go Home WrestleMania show for Monday Night Raw, and that will come up very shortly. I'm DanRock08. Catch you next time.